Hello, friends, and welcome back to another episode of Spilling Studio. My name is Sam, and this week we have 7 new ARE practice questions designed to help you pass your next exam. 1 question per exam topic and a bonus question at the end, so stick around. First up is practice management. Protect joint sealers during and after a curing period from contact with contaminating substances or from damage resulting from construction operations so that they are without damage at time of substantial completion. Which part of the specifications are these instructions located? Part 1, General, Part 2, Products, Part 3, Execution, or Division 1, Quality Requirements? Feel free to pause here to answer. And the answer is Part 3, Execution. Instructions for protection are found in Part 3 of the specifications, Execution. This section tells us how materials should be prepared before installation, how substrates should be prepped to accept the material, methods of quality control, and how to clean and protect materials once installed. Part 1, General, tells us all the background info on the materials, like testing requirements for the material, project conditions, how to store and handle the material, quality assurance requirements, what types of submittals should be sent to the architect, and what type of warranties the product should have. Part 2 is everything we could possibly want to know about the material. This is where all the information on the product is. Acceptable manufacturers are listed, technical requirements, and other things about the material like color, finish, grade, and so on. The other option that was listed was Division 1 General Requirements. That is a specification itself, not a section or part of a specification. It gives the contractor requirements on administrative procedures for the project, how to set up temporary facilities, submittal procedures, quality control, and so on. Next up is project management. A city is planning to build a new community center to provide resources to an underserved neighborhood. The city would like to encourage competitive bidding, but does not want to sacrifice the quality of products and materials. What type of specification should be used? Descriptive, prescriptive, proprietary, base bid with alternates, or base bid with approved equal? Pause here to answer. And the answer is base bid with approved equal. A base bid with approved equals allows the contractor to propose an alternative material to what the architect has specified. The architect then reviews the proposed material during the bidding phase and issues an addenda notifying all the bidders of the decision. Using the approved equal language in a specification establishes a minimum quality level based on the product specified, but it allows the contractor to look at a lower cost alternative if they choose to. I'm not sure when an architect would want to use a base bid with alternates because in that scenario, the contractor can use other materials without the approval of the architect. This type of specification does not give the owner and the architect control over the quality of these products. Maybe if the cost of the project is the most important to the owner, this would be the best specification for lowering costs. Descriptive specifications outline the desired outcome or performance characteristics without specifying how to achieve them. They focus on describing the qualities, features, or standards that the final product or service should possess. Descriptive specifications leave room for flexibility and creativity in achieving the desired result, allowing suppliers or contractors to propose their own methods or materials. Prescriptive specifications provide detailed instructions on how to achieve the desired outcome, including specific materials, methods, dimensions, and processes. They leave little room for interpretation or deviation as they dictate exactly what must be done and how it should be done. Prescriptive specifications are useful when there is a specific standard or regulatory requirement that must be met, or when there is a need for consistency and uniformity in the product or service. However, prescriptive specifications are less flexible and they may not always be the most cost-effective or efficient option. Proprietary specifications specify a particular brand, product, or supplier. They require the use of a specific material component or equipment that are proprietary to a particular manufacturer or supplier. Proprietary specifications may be used when a certain product or brand is essential for compatibility, performance, or warranty reasons. However, they can also limit competition and increase costs as they may prevent other suppliers from offering alternative solutions or products. Now on to programming and analysis. A client has selected an undeveloped site for construction of a new apartment complex. Of the site diagrams below, which is the best planning approach? All buildings represent the same gross square footage. Option A, B, C, or D. Pause here to answer. And the correct answer is D. So with these types of questions, it's very easy to forget what they're actually asking for, and the designer in you takes over and starts thinking of what the best design would be. When I started testing, I know I would have read this question and I would have gotten hooked on the apartment part, and then probably would have chosen B, the C-shaped building, thinking that everyone would get more windows and there would be a nice courtyard in the middle and so on. But that's not what they're asking. They want to know what the best planning approach is, which is always the most environmentally friendly, less disruptive option. That would be our last option, option D. It has a smaller footprint by going more vertical, so less land is disrupted. It's also located in the corner of the site instead of the middle, so more of the site can be kept natural, and it allows for future development if needed. Moving on to our next exam, project planning, and our question is, a contractor is beginning construction on a single-family home and is calculating how much lumber will be needed. The room is 16 feet by 16 feet, and 3 of the walls will be framed by 2x4 studs at 24 inches on center. The contractor estimates the project will need 12 9-foot studs for each wall. How many linear feet will the contractor need to order? 108 linear feet, 144, 216, 324. Pause here to answer. And the correct answer is 324 linear feet. A lot of numbers and information in this question. You may have started off this question by pulling the room size, stud size, and spacing, but you don't need to. They actually already tell you how many studs there are per wall and what their length is. So we just need to multiply those together. 12 studs times 9 feet gives us 108 linear feet. But we're not done yet. We still have to multiply the 108 linear feet by the number of walls being framed. And in this scenario, that's 3 walls, which gives us our answer of 324 linear feet. A brief pause here to remind you that I post new questions every week, so please hit that subscribe button to make sure you don't miss out on a video. It also really helps me out, so thank you. Now on to project development. An architect is compiling a set of construction drawings for a renovation of a multi-purpose room in a small office building. The set includes the following sheets: mechanical plan, finish schedule and furniture plan on the same sheet, interior elevations, reflective ceiling plan, demolition and new work plans on the same sheet, and an electrical plan. Which drawing will be fourth in the set? Mechanical plan, finish schedule and furniture plans, reflective ceiling plan, demolition and new work plans. Pause to answer. And the answer is finish schedule and furniture plans. To answer this question, you need to know 2 things. One is how each discipline is organized in the construction set, and then 2, how drawings are organized within each discipline. For your project development test and your construction evaluation test, you need to be familiar with both of these lists. So if we take our list of drawings from the question and put them in order, we'll have the demolition and new work plans first, followed by the RCPs, then interior elevations, and our 4th item would be the finish schedule and furniture plan, Mechanical and electrical plans will follow after that. Next up is construction evaluation. If water seeps into masonry and dissolves soluble salts, which of the following problems might develop? Hydration, segregation, efflorescence, or latence? Pause here to answer. And the answer is efflorescence. So what exactly is efflorescence? Well, it's a natural process where salts and building materials migrate to the surface and form that characteristic white powdery deposit. This happens when moisture penetrates a masonry unit containing calcium sulfate or potassium nitrate, and when the water evaporates, it leaves salts behind. But is efflorescence harmful? Well, not necessarily. While it's not the most beautiful thing to look at, it can indicate underlying issues with the construction of the wall or the drainage or waterproofing of the wall, so it's something to investigate further. The three other options in the question have to do with concrete. Segregation happens when concrete is dropped too far or moved too much when placing it. This causes components of the concrete to separate. Hydration is the chemical process of hardening concrete, and latence happens when too much water is in the concrete mix, which causes fine aggregates to rise up to the surface. Last but not least, our bonus question is, the construction of a new classroom building is nearing completion. The general contractor is ready to begin the commissioning process. Which team members are part of this process? The owner, elevator subcontractor, civil engineer, mechanical engineer, structural engineer, or mechanical engineer? Pause here to answer. And the correct answer is owner, elevator subcontractor, electrical engineer, and mechanical engineer. So first off, what is commissioning? Well, it's essentially a quality assurance check on all building systems. It's a schematic process that ensures all systems and components of a new project are designed, installed, tested, operated, and maintained according to the owner's requirements and industry standards. This process typically involves the stages listed below. Planning, where developing a commissioning plan that outlines the scope, objectives, responsibilities, and schedule for the commissioning process is done. Then the design is reviewed to ensure it meets the owner's requirements, building codes, and other standards. As construction is in progress, the installed systems and equipment are inspected and tested to ensure they are installed correctly and functioning as intended. The next step is the performance testing, where the commissioning agent will conduct tests and simulations to verify everything is working as designed. Once we know everything is working, facility operators or maintenance personnel are trained to make sure that they know how to operate the systems effectively. Then the contractor and manufacturer will compile documents such as operation manuals, maintenance schedules, and record drawings to support ongoing operations and maintenance. And finally, the completed project will be handed over to the owner. Commissioning helps identify and address issues early in the construction process, reducing the likelihood of costly rework or operational problems later on. It also ensures that the facility meets the needs and expectations of the owner or end user, ultimately leading to a more functional, efficient, and sustainable built environment. So, who's involved in all of this? Of course, the commissioning agent is involved. They're the ones who will be running the test. They're typically a third party hired by the owner. Any type of systems engineer, like our electrical and mechanical engineers, would be involved as well. If the project has an elevator, that subcontractor will be involved to ensure the elevator system is operating as intended. And finally, the owner and the facility operators. That's our questions for this week. Remember to check out the description for links to some of the AIA contracts covered in this video. I've also linked some of my favorite study books, so go check those out. Let me know in the comments any subject areas that you're struggling with, and I'll do my best to get that covered in the next video. Thank you all for joining. Please subscribe, and good luck on your next exam. You got this!